Hi, my name is Anushka Ganu, and today I'm going to be doing my core project. To start off, I'm going to be analyzing Article 6, which was the effects of brand logo colorfulness on consumer judgments. And to pair with that, I have a Fruit Loops ad called Follow Your Nose to Fruit Loops Rolls. Okay. A little bit more about Article 6. This study's main goal was to understand the influence of color and the perception of variety. So the authors predicted that an increase in color usage would lead to an increase in the perception of variety. And so consumers are more likely to think that more color offers more variety. And so this hypothesis was tested using two distinct groups, one that had more color and the other one that had less color. And to kind of emphasize this point, three different studies occurred within this experiment. Study one looked at colorfulness of the logo itself and how consumers are more likely to prefer a logo that has more color and more likely to think that that logo or that brand has more to offer compared to one with less color. And the same thing kind of occurred in study two, but it looked at colorful packaging and colorful candy. And so consumers were more likely to pick a colorful packaging in comparison to a monotonous one because it gave them the idea that a colorful package had more variety in it. And study three was a little bit different because it looked at generalistic versus more specific advertising of a store. And it was shown that consumers that were presented with a more colorful and general advertisement preferred that store compared to consumers who were given a more dull in color and a more specific store, because it kind of gave that idea that one store has more to offer because it's being general, and B, it uses more color. And so every study supported the original hypothesis that consumers preferred colorful items because of that association. And it also supported the hypothesis as well by showing that consumers did have that perception that color equals variety. And so to pair with that, I use a ad called Follow Your Nose, and I'm not gonna actually play it, but I'm gonna go a little bit more into description right now. So this ad portrays two children sitting in a kitchen and they wonder where Fruit Loops comes from. And so the mascot, Sam the Toucan, shows up and he takes them to Fruit Loops World and shows them the various sites and tells them to follow their nose throughout this journey. And so Fruit Loops obviously is known as a very colorful brand. It's very eccentric, very playful, very fun, and they use a lot of colors to make that happen. And so consumers, when they see this variety, they see this color, they're obviously jumping to assume that Fruit Loops has that diversity in their product. And so this perception is also amplified when you go to a store and you see a very colorful box sitting on the shelf versus all the products around it that don't use as much color. And so you're immediately drawn to Fruit Loops because you have that association again between the color and the variety. And you also see children being portrayed in the ad. And so when kids watch this ad at home, they're kind of, Fruit Loops is automatically targeting children to want this product because they see kids on TV enjoying Fruit Loops World. And a little bit more about the generalistic approach. Fruit Loops uses fruit in obviously their cereal name, and that actually incentivizes that generalistic viewpoint because you've got 6 distinct colors and you've got a general word fruit. And so consumers are more likely to associate those two together and kind of make a prediction that the different colors represent different fruits. And so when you kind of pair these things together, obviously Fruit Loops is preferred by consumers because A, it uses a lot of color, and B, there's a lot to offer within the product. And so if I wanted to change anything about this experiment, I would actually use less color and have a more specific viewpoint. So instead of using 6 colors, I might use 2 or 3 max. And then instead of having, the way to a healthy breakfast or the kind of thing that Fruit Loops is advertising, I would specifically focus on one nutrient fact that it does better than the other one. So maybe it's high in fiber or maybe it's high in potassium. And I would kind of emphasize those points and see how using less color and being more specific changes the perception of Fruit Loops towards the consumers and towards how children see it as well. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great day.